Welcome to another episode of geekoutdoors.com. So Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha is a rom-com slice of life K-drama that was adapted from the 2004 movie Mr. Handy, Mr. Hong. And this is a series that I did not see coming because even though I have seen the original movie, I just couldn't see how they could spread that out into a 16 episode series. But now that I've seen it, let's just say I was very surprised. And so the general story is Shin plays this dentist called Jin, and she works at a very prominent dental office in Seoul, South Korea. And even though she herself is a really great dentist, the actual office that she works at, they're not very ethical in the way that they do their work. And because of that, she actually gets fired from her job. And since the person who runs that dental office has a lot of power and a lot of connections, she's basically blacklisted in working at any other dental office in Seoul. And so because of that, she actually ends up in this very small seaside town called Gongjin, which is a place that she actually has visited in the past. And in the process, she meets this guy named Hong, or Chief Hong as is known, played by Seon-ho. And Chief Hong, or Hong Do-shik, which is his full name, is basically a handyman. He does practically every job in that very small seaside village, and he also has some past histories with this town, and at the same time a lot of the own mystery surrounding why he's there. And once you get into the town, you meet the whole community of people that actually live in this seaside village. Everybody knows everyone. And within this whole mix, you get to learn a lot about the people, the town, the reason why they're there, their connections, their relationships. There is a lot going on in this entire series, and that's basically the general story. It's about these two people, this town, and everybody around it. Now, getting to things that I absolutely love about this series are the characters. The characters here are so rich. They're written in a way that feel like real people. And so we have Chief Hong, we have Jin, but then we have many other characters here. We have the grandmas, the shop store owners, the restaurant owners, the guy and his wife who actually work in the city, but his wife also is a restaurant owner, and she also owns the building that Jin stays in. We have Jin's best friend, which is a dental assistant. We have a police officer there. Two kids who are children of the people that live there and who have their own really cool story. We have a former hit singer who actually owns a cafe, and his daughter who's crazy about this K-pop group. And there's so many other characters that come and go in this, but that's like the core amount of characters. And there's also some characters from Seoul, South Korea as well, who's actually shooting a series there. And so there's a director and his crew of people. So there's a lot of different characters here, but the way in which they were written, it was just so good. And I absolutely loved every single character on this show, and there was not a single character that I didn't feel was interesting and that wasn't worth you paying attention to. And so the second thing that this show does so well is the acting. Everybody here, from the main characters all the way to the children, just do an absolutely superb job. And within this show, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces. So beyond the main actors and actresses, there's also a lot of supporting characters that I've seen in so many other K-dramas and Korean entertainment. Specifically, the grandma, Gam-ri. She's basically the grandma of every K-drama that I've seen. And also the cafe shop owner. I've seen him in a lot of K-dramas as well. So if you are a fan of that and you are a fan of really excellent acting, then this show has it. And within this show, there's a large range of emotions. Everything from the comedy, there's dramatic moments, and there's very emotional moments as well. And I was really thoroughly surprised by the acting quality from the children, because whenever it gets to that part, you'd be really shocked at how good they are. And so if you're that type of person who really appreciates excellent acting, then this show has it. Now, the next thing that this show does so well is, of course, the story. Now, the general basic story, you have seen this before, this whole slice of life, rom-com stuff, but the way in which this is told, it is just done so well. And even though there's so many characters here, each one of them has their own story. There's a backstory behind each one. And the amazing thing is they're able to really give a lot of these characters time, time for you to get to know them, time for you to see them grow, and also the relationships and bonds that they build with each other. Very similar to the actual characters, and the act that is involved is very multi-layered. So this story has a lot going for it. And whenever you were watching it, you never really know kind of like where the story is going to take you, which is what I really enjoy, because even though I have seen this before, the way in which it does this, especially as the season progresses, it just gets better and better, and it's a story that is extremely memorable. And then beyond the story itself, the actual production quality is just top notch. Now, even though Gongjin is a fictional seaside town, it's actually based upon a real city. Most of it was shot at this place called Pohan, and so it's a really beautiful setting. But the overall production design, the quality of the costumes, the music, the visuals, cinematography, everything here is just excellent, and I really wouldn't expect anything less from Studio Dragon, which pretty much, at least for me, has one of the highest production qualities that I've seen out of any K-drama productions. And so if you are that type of person who enjoys production quality, then this series also delivers. And then the final thing that this actual show does so well is the fact that it brings a lot of emotion. Beyond the whole rom-com aspect, whenever you're watching this, you're going to get so heavily invested in these characters. And when these emotional scenes come, you're really going to go with them, as they are real people, or it feels like they're real people. And there's moments of that I just really couldn't believe was coming out of the series and how it made me feel. And because you actually grew a connection with these really deep, interesting characters, you really feel a loss, or you understand what they're going through whenever they're going through all these different situations. And within the show, there's a lot of different situations that come up that spark a lot of emotion through it. And so whenever you're able to bring the story, the characters, and acting to produce those type of emotions genuinely, then you could tell that's really a mark of a great series. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. Now, getting into the things that I didn't like about this series, well, spoiler alert, there wasn't a single thing that I did not like about this series. This, for me, is probably the perfect K-drama Korean series, and I really don't say that lightly because I've seen a lot of them. But because this did it so well, there really wasn't anything lacking at all. And the one thing that it also does extremely well that I didn't mention earlier in the story was the ending. The ending in this is pretty much perfect. And most K-dramas or Korean series that I've seen, even though they're a great series, they always fall whenever they get to the ending, but not Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. And it pretty much symbolizes what I really feel about this entire series, and that is perfect. So those are my thoughts on it. If you could probably tell, I absolutely love this series. It's probably my top K-drama right now, and I've seen a lot of them. And also in terms of just series as a whole, it's one of my favorites of all time. It is that good, and I highly recommend that you check it out. So if you actually had any thoughts on this or any other dramas that you've seen that you've enjoyed, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And if you did want to see more of my Korean entertainment and movie reviews, I do have an entire playlist. I'll leave that in the description area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you're a creative geek like me and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group.